Hi viewers, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the assessment of the respiratory function of a baby. Okay, so this is not only for a pediatric case, even you can do this assessment for adults also. Maybe mild differences will be there. Otherwise, the way of assessment is going to be the same. Okay, so when we are coming to the assessment of the respiratory system, first we have to concentrate on the rate. Okay, so when you are going to assess the rate of an adult patient, okay, it is going to be around 16 to 20. The normal respiratory rate is around 16 to 20. In case if you are going to assess the respiratory rate for a pediatric child, so that is like around 1 year. So what will be the respiratory rate? Around 50. So you consider around 40 to 50 is going to be a normal range for a 1 year child. Okay, so when this rate is going to be more, that is your tachypnea, or otherwise less, that is your bradypnea. So in any condition when there is a change with the rate, so in case if the rate is going to be less than 30 or more than 50 for a 1 year child, you consider it is an abnormal rate. Okay, so there is something troubling the child that you have to assess. And then coming to the depth of respiration. So depth of respiration is, you must, when you assess a baby or when you assess a patient, you have to see how does the patient is breathing. Okay, so whether it is like only till the lungs or otherwise the patient is going down, that is diaphragmatic or abdominal breathing, that you have to assess, so that you are going to see the depth of breathing. So you are going to see whether there is hypopnea or hyperpnea. You are going to see whether the depth of respiration is like very less or very more, that you are going to assess with the depth of respiration. When you are coming to the ease of respiration, ease of respiration is the difficulty in breathing. So when the patient is breathing, see, suppose when I am breathing, whether you are able to see that I am breathing? No. So when you are breathing, it is also the same. You can't see that a person is breathing from outside. Okay, so it is like only you are going to inspire and expire without any trouble or otherwise without any pain. In case if there is any difficulty, that is any dyspnea when the patient is exhibiting, you have to term there is a difficulty or there is a complaint with the respiratory status. Okay, so you are going to assess the ease of respiration, that is you are going to check whether there is any dyspnea for the patient, or otherwise you are going to see whether there is any diaphragmatic breathing. So that is like when the patient is breathing from the diaphragm, that is a little labored breathing, or otherwise abdominal breathing, that is from the abdomen when the patient is breathing. At that time there is a difficulty in breathing, you have to assess. And then coming to your labored breathing. Labored breathing is sudden or there may be a continuous. Okay, so anything can happen. When there is a difficulty in breathing, sometimes when there is a grunting, sometimes there will be a wheezing, sometimes there is an asthmatic attack. Okay, so all these things are like abnormal breathing, which may be continuous or intermittent. So that is like when an episode arrives, at that time there will be a difficulty in breathing. Okay, those type of like abnormal or difficulty in breathing, you term it as labored breathing. And then we have rhythms. Okay, so the rhythmic of breathing. Okay, so what does this rhythm means? Abnormal rhythm is when there is a change in the rate and the depth of respiration, you say there is a rhythmic change in the respiratory pattern. Okay, so this is what you are going to observe when a patient is getting admitted in the ward with the breathing difficulty. So what all we are going to check? We are going to check the rate of breathing, the rhythm or the depth of breathing, the ease, labored breathing, and finally the rhythm of the patient's difficulty in the breath. So these are the normal assessment when you are doing with the patient. When we are considering the other factors, so what are all going to influence the respiratory pattern of the difficulty in breathing? Suppose when the patient is having a wheeze, so what are the conditions you are going to assess the other conditions which is contributing the breathing difficulty, that also you are going to assess. Okay, so the other considerations you have to see for cough. So when you are assessing the patient's breathing, you are going to see whether the patient is having a cough. Okay, so if the patient is experiencing a cough, you have to see what is the type of cough: dry cough, wet cough, that is like secretions. With the secretions it is there, when the patient is coughing, he is having lot of phlegm. All these things you are going to assess when you are assessing the cough of the patient. And when you are assessing the wheeze, okay, so when you are assessing, a patient is having a wheeze and because of that there is a breathing difficulty, you have to see whether the wheeze is an inspiratory wheeze or an expiratory wheeze, and you are going to see when is this wheeze getting triggered. So when, like, you have to ask with the client. In case if the client is a small baby or otherwise a pediatric case, when the child doesn't know how to tell, you have to ask with the parent. So when is this wheeze taking place, that is the time of the wheeze and the type of wheeze, how the patient is exhibiting, that also you have to ask with the patient. And then we have to ask for the cyanosis. So what is cyanosis? It is the bluish discoloration of the skin and the mucous membrane. Okay, so now why this cyanosis is taking place? When there is a decreased oxygen in the blood, at that time there will be bluish discoloration of the skin and mucous membrane. So usually this cyanosis is exhibited in your extremities, that is either in the upper extremities, very commonly in the lower extremities. When the blood flow, it is coming very less. Okay, so sometimes there will be a different cyanosis episodes you can see. Sometimes it is the facial cyanosis you can see, sometimes it is the nasal cyanosis, sometimes it is only the mucosal cyanosis you can see, sometimes it is only to the lower extremity. So you can see different varieties of cyanosis exhibited by the patient. You have to assess what type of cyanosis the patient is exhibiting, you have to see. And then coming to the chest pain. So when there is a difficulty in breathing, whether there is an accompany with the chest pain, so you are going to rule out whether there is a sometimes what happens, there is a lot of chest congestion, and because of labored breathing and because of the compensatory mechanism whatever is taking place in the body, there may be a pain in the chest valve of the patient. So when there is a pain in the chest of the patient, you can see that the patient is complaining. So usually it is the elderly patient, that is like when they are able to tell the complaint, at that time they can say there is a pain in the lateral region, they can say sometimes there is a pain in the sternal muscles, they can say. So according to the complaint of the patient, you have to come to a conclusion what is happening, and whether there is an involvement in the cardiac system also you have to assess when the child is complaining of a chest pain. And then we have nasal mucosa. Nasal mucosa is, you have to see for the secretions of the patient. Sometimes there will be a watery secretion, that is just a rhinitis, maybe a clear watery secretion from the mucous membrane, that is your nasal mucosa, you can assess. Sometimes there is a thick purulent and very smelly, odorful discharge will be present, that also can be assessed. That is to rule out when there is a respiratory infection for the patient, that also you can do. And sometimes it is bad breath, that is your halitosis, we say. Bad breath when there is a long term, when the patient is having a breathing difficulty and when the patient is having a open mouth breathing, that is like for long time the patient is opening the mouth and taking breath from mouth. Okay, it is not through the nasal cavity. When the patient is breathing through the mouth, at that time there may be a halitosis. So this also contributes to the respiratory difficulty. Okay, so these are the areas you have to concentrate when you are coming to the assessment of a patient with the respiratory problems. Okay, so your initial assessment when the patient is entering the hospital area with a breathing difficulty, you have to assess all these things, that is the rate, depth, ease, labored breathing and rhythm. So other considerations what you have to make it is your cough, wheeze, cyanosis, chest pain, nasal mucosa, bad breath, all these things you have to assess. Okay, so with this you will come to a conclusion what type of breathing difficulty the patient is experiencing, what is the measure you have to take. Okay, so this is just an introduction, like how do you assess your respiratory system. Hope you understood. In case if you have any doubts, kindly give your comments in the comment box. Okay, we'll meet in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye.